Hello and welcome live from New Delhi. You're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Gautam Roy, and coming up in the next 30 minutes, voting for 12th national elections in Bangladesh ends. Around 40% voters exercise their franchise. No major incident of violence reported. The Indian Air Force executes its first ever night landing of C-130J Super Hercules aircraft at the Kargil airstrip, showcasing its operational capability in high altitude terrain. And the online campaign to boycott Maldives trends after some Maldivian ministers post anti-India remarks. The Maldivian government distances itself from the controversy. Well, first up, let's get an update from Bangladesh, where voting for the 12th national elections for the country has come to an end amid a low voter turnout. Although there were sporadic incidents of violence, the elections were largely peaceful. Chief Election Commissioner of Bangladesh, Qazi Habibul Awal, said around 40% voters have cast their ballot for the 12th parliamentary elections. Polling started at 8 in the morning at local time and came to an end at 4 p.m. Soon after voting came to an end, counting began at the voting centres across the country. Meanwhile, the Election Commission has cancelled the candidacy of Bangladesh Awami League nominated candidate for Chittagong 16 constituency, Mustafizur Rahman Chaudhry, as he threatened law enforcement officials, which is a violation of the Electoral Code of Conduct. In urban areas, voting was slow, while in rural areas, voters turned out in relatively higher numbers. 8 candidates in different constituencies across Bangladesh have boycotted the 12th national elections, alleging vote rigging and irregularities. And the day also saw Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina casting her vote in Sunday's elections. The polls are set to carry her Awami League-led alliance to a 4th straight term amid a boycott by the main opposition party, the BNP. After voting, Sheikh Hasina addressed reporters and said that Bangladesh is a sovereign country and people are her power.
Our country is the sovereign country, sovereign independent country. Maybe it's a small country, but we have big population. So people's right, we have established people's democratic right and also right to their better life or their prosperous life. That is our main aim. We want to do that. So I'm trying my best to ensure that democracy should continue in this country.
And the Bangladeshi PM also expressed hope that her party would win the people's mandate, which would give it a 5th term.
Our country has been progressing, and how? We have more work to do in the coming times. I'm hoping that we will win this election and form the government. And with all the support from the people of our nation, we will be able to continue with the progressive work. We believe in ourselves and have faith in the people of Bangladesh.
Let's now take you straight across to Dhaka for a live update. DD India's Naval Singh Parmar is joining us now. Naval Singh, good evening to you from Delhi. What can you tell us about how the counting has now gotten underway in terms of the pace of it? By when will we get to know the result of this election? I believe the turnout has not been as strong as expected.
Yes, since voting is completed at the 4 p.m. and soon after the completion of the voting, counting began at the voting center itself. And within 24 hours, we will get a result as per the previous record here in Bangladesh.
All right. In terms of how the voting went today, what can you tell us as to how the people were turning out? Because the final figure that has come is about 40%, and in the last general elections, the figure was much higher, almost twice that number.
Yes, this time, as per the data of Election Commission, Election Commission of Bangladesh briefed media that around 40% voting percentage was there. And in previous election, there were around 80% voting. So this is the effect of boycott and the boycott called by the opposition party and other allies of BNP.
Yes, well, considering that 40% is still quite a decent figure. Thanks for joining us for the moment and giving us an update, Naval Singh Parmar from Dhaka. Now, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken has met with leaders of Turkey and Greece on Saturday during the opening stops of his latest West Asia diplomatic mission. Blinken said that West Asian nations need to use their influence to prevent and end the cycle of violence in the region. Antony Blinken said it was in nobody's interest to escalate the conflict or allow it to spread beyond Gaza.
As we said from day one, we have an intense focus on preventing this conflict from spreading. And a big part of the conversations we'll be having over the coming days with all of our allies and partners is looking at the steps that they can take, using the influence and ties that they have to do just that, to make sure that this conflict doesn't spread. Second, we'll be looking at what we can do to maximize the protection for civilians, maximize humanitarian assistance getting into them, and also to get hostages out of Gaza.
Now, according to U.S. officials, Blinken's focus is on increasing aid to the besieged Gaza Strip, controlled by the Palestinian terrorist group Hamas. This marks Blinken's fourth regional tour since the conflict erupted with Hamas's attacks on Israel starting the 7th of October last year. Now, U.S. Secretary of State has also met with Jordan's Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Ayman Safadi on Sunday. During the meeting, discussions on the ongoing conflict in the West Asian region took center stage. Secretary Blinken reiterated the U.S. commitment to attain peace through the establishment of a Palestinian state as part of a two-state solution. Blinken also appreciated Jordan for its role in providing aid to the conflict-hit region. U.S. Secretary of State also emphasized on U.S.'s adherence to providing humanitarian assistance to Gaza. Israeli defense forces have completed dismantling Hamas's military framework in northern Gaza. Around 8,000 terrorists have been killed in the area, according to a spokesperson of the IDF on Saturday. The military has also seized tens of thousands of weapons and millions of documents.
Fighting will continue during 2024. We are operating according to a plan to achieve the war's goals to dismantle Hamas in the north and the south.
And over in Taiwan, it has slammed Chinese balloons as a safety threat and a psychological warfare instrument. Taiwan's defense ministry has accused China on Saturday of threatening aviation safety and waging psychological warfare on the island's people, with a recent spate of balloons spotted near or over the island days before key Taiwanese elections. The potential for China to use balloons for spying became a global issue in February when the United States shot down what it said was a Chinese surveillance balloon. China said the balloon was a civilian craft that accidentally drifted astray. Taiwan is on high alert for Chinese military and political activity ahead of the 13th of January presidential and parliamentary elections. China has announced sanctions on 5 American defense-related companies in response to U.S. arms sales to Taiwan and U.S. sanctions on Chinese companies and individuals. The sanctions have come ahead of Taiwan's 13th of January presidential and parliamentary elections. The U.S. Department of State last month approved $300 million in sale of equipment to help maintain Taiwan's tactical information systems. A foreign ministry statement issued says the sanctions will freeze any property the companies have in China and prohibit organizations and individuals in China from doing business with them. Now, rescue efforts in Ukraine's Donetsk continue after 11 people were killed in a Russian missile strike. Rescue efforts were extended into the night. A Russian military statement issued earlier on Saturday said its forces had struck a command post used by a Ukrainian military formation near Pokrovsk. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky expressed his condolences to the families of the victims and accused Russia of targeting civilians.
A rescue operation is underway these hours in Pokrovsk and Pokrovsk district after a Russian S-300 missile strike. All necessary rescue forces are involved, including equipment of the emergency services of Ukraine. They are working through the rubble. As of now, we know that at least 10 people are dead. Among them are unfortunately children. My condolences to those that have lost their family or close ones. The Russian strike hit a simple residential building and private houses. The injured are receiving the necessary medical assistance.
On the other hand, Russian President Vladimir Putin has vowed on Saturday to back soldiers who defend Russia's interests. He also assured their families that Moscow would offer support when needed. Putin was speaking on the eve of Orthodox Christmas while at a meeting with families of Russian soldiers who have died in Ukraine.
I would like our meeting to be clear, understandable, signal to all my colleagues throughout the Russian Federation and at all levels, a clear signal to ensure that my colleagues are always and everywhere with you. I repeat, any level of power. So you would always have support of people who could back you up if necessarily, to support you, to give you a hand when you need it.
Очень тонких, тяжелых, может быть, даже вещах в преддверии праздника.
Now let's get you an update from Japan. After the deadly 2024 Noto Peninsula earthquake, the country is suffering through its aftermath. Reconstruction work in quake-affected Japanese villages has been hindered due to severe damage and transportation disruptions. Due to this, the residents are still forced to live in precarious conditions. Japan declared a state of emergency on Saturday in the central prefecture of Ishikawa. Moreover, as rescue operations are underway, aid workers in an earthquake-hit northern Japanese city also expressed concerns that falling temperatures and possible snowfall may exacerbate rescue and relief efforts. Japan's Prime Minister vowed to provide ceaseless support to areas devastated by the earthquake.
We are expecting heavy snow in the disaster region. In response to such a situation, we should take urgent measures such as deploying snowplows to ensure the safety of those affected by the disaster, including those in the isolated areas.
Let's get you some more quick-fire updates from across the world, where the first winter storm of the year in the US passed through the eastern coast on Saturday, moving through the northeast. 8 inches of snow was forecast in interior portions of New York State, New Jersey, Pennsylvania and northeast through New England. Authorities have urged residents to stay vigilant. An enchanting sea of clouds shrouded the mountain area of Manaz, a county in northwestern China. The spectacular cumulus clouds were formed above the Wudaya scenic spot with the highest elevation of 1,300 meters after the minimum temperature plummeted to -15 degrees Celsius. Ukrainian infantry soldiers on the Eastern Front have been keeping their spirits high while braving a second winter with freezing temperatures and heavy snowfall. And still to come on DD India Live, Donald Trump plays down his role in the siege of the US Capitol. The first time IAF heavy-lift aircraft carries out a night landing at the Kargil airstrip in the high-altitude region. And India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh will be leaving for a 2-day trip to the UK.
Voice of a rising aspirational world. Stories of challenges, struggles and accomplishment. A world battling conflict, hunger and poverty. Embracing growth development, science and technology. A voice of progress, a voice of unity. Watch Voice of the Global South with me, Akshay Dongre, only on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Gautam Roy. Donald Trump has played down his role in the siege of the US Capitol on the 3rd anniversary of the attack, arguing that those prosecuted for storming the building should be freed. Speaking at a campaign event in Clinton, Iowa, with the first Republican nomination contest little more than a week away, Trump called those jailed in the wake of the 6th of January 2021 attack hostages and said they'd been mistreated by the Biden administration. Meanwhile, speaking at a campaign rally in Newton, Iowa, Trump told his supporters that the US Civil War could have been negotiated, but did not explain how.
The Civil War was so fascinating, so horrible. It was so horrible, but so fascinating. It was, I don't know, it was just different. I just find it, I mean, see, there was something I think could have been negotiated, to be honest with you. I think you could have negotiated that. All the people died, so many people died.
The Election Commission of Pakistan dismissed allegations made by Pakistan's Tehreek-e-Insaf regarding the lack of a level playing field for the forthcoming general elections in this year. The plea, moved on behalf of barrister Gohar Ali Khan, sought a direction from the Supreme Court to ensure a level playing field by not arresting Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf candidates, workers and leaders. In December last year, the country's highest court instructed the Election Commission of Pakistan to address all complaints raised by the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf concerning the fairness of the electoral environment leading up to the upcoming general elections. US regulators on Saturday temporarily grounded 171 Boeing 737 MAX 9 jetliners for safety checks after the emergency landing of the plane in one incident. The Federal Aviation Administration did not rule out further action as a probe began into the apparent structural failure. According to the US National Transportation Safety Board, no passenger was seated next to a cabin panel that blew out on Alaska Airlines jet, forcing an emergency landing.
Now, we're here investigating an accident, and yes, we've now determined, based on our definition of substantial damage, that it is an accident, not an incident. Fortunately, all passengers deplaned. We are not aware of any serious injuries. We are aware of reports of minor injuries. With that said, I imagine this was a pretty terrifying event. We don't often talk about psychological injury, but I'm sure that occurred here. So on behalf of the National Transportation Safety Board, I would like to extend our deepest sympathies to those that experienced what I imagine was truly terrifying.
Back in Asia, Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. has signed into law a bill making it easier for taxpayers to pay their taxes. This is in a bid to increase the revenues his government needs to boost infrastructure spending. Ease of Paying Taxes Act, the new law, simplifies procedures by allowing taxpayers to electronically or manually file tax returns with any authorized agent, bank or tax software provider. The new law also allows non-residents to register for their facilities in a bid to attract foreign investors into the Philippines. The number of income tax return pages has also been cut to 2 from the previous 4. In a major milestone for the Indian Air Force in terms of operational and troops deployment capabilities, the Indian Air Force has demonstrated a groundbreaking feat by landing a C-130J Super Hercules aircraft on an airstrip in Kargil during night for the first time. Making this operation even more complex, the Indian Air Force employed terrain masking en route, a technique of low-altitude flight used by military aircraft to avoid enemy radar and infrared detection, enhancing the stealth and security of the aircraft and the troops. The night landing exercise was integrated with a training mission of the Garud Commandos, an elite special unit of the Indian Air Force, enhancing operational condition between its air and ground units. Located in northern Union territory of Ladakh at an altitude of 8,800 feet, Kargil holds immense strategic significance for India's defense capabilities as it has a close proximity with Pakistan-occupied Kashmir and China. India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh will be leaving on a two-day visit to London, United Kingdom on Monday. He will be accompanied by a high-level delegation of the Indian Ministry of Defence, comprising senior officials from the various departments of defence. During his visit, Rajnath Singh will hold a bilateral meeting with the UK counterpart, Secretary of State for Defence Grant Shapps. They are expected to discuss a wide range of defence, security and industrial cooperation issues. Rajnath Singh is also expected to call on UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak and hold a meeting with Secretary of State for Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Affairs, David Cameron. India's Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal has highlighted India's transformative economic journey and said that India's comprehensive development is a testimony to Prime Minister Modi's transformative leadership. The Commerce and Industry Minister was speaking at the two-day Global Investors Meet 2024 in Tamil Nadu. The summit aims to propel the state towards achieving a $1 trillion economy by 2030.
Bharat's comprehensive development is a testimony to Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi's transformative leadership and forward-thinking policies over the last 10 years. And I'm delighted that Tamil Nadu is an integral part of that progressive vision.
India's Minority Affairs Minister Smriti Irani on Sunday arrived in Jeddah on a two-day visit to attend the Hajj conference and sign the Hajj Agreement 2024 between India and Saudi Arabia. Ambassador Dr. Suhail Khan received the minister at the Jeddah airport. She'll also hold a bilateral meeting with the Minister of Hajj and Umrah Affairs of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Explore Indian Islands as a hashtag started trending on X after a few Maldivian ministers posted anti-India remarks on the social networking website and platform. Several Indian celebrities and social media influencers also joined an online campaign calling for a boycott of the Maldives. The Indian High Commission in Maldives also raised the matter with the Maldivian authorities. And as the situation escalated, the government of Maldives put out a statement saying that it's aware of derogatory remarks on social media platforms against foreign leaders and high-ranking individuals. The statement read that the opinions are personal and do not represent the views of the government of Maldives. And the relevant authorities of the government of Maldives will not hesitate to take action against those who make such derogatory remarks. Now back home, Iqbal Ansari, a former litigant in the Ram Janmabhoomi Babri Masjid case, received an invitation to the Ram Temple consecration ceremony on the 22nd of this month. Ansari said that the Muslim community respected the 2019 verdict of the Supreme Court on the Ram Temple issue and are happy with the massive celebration of the Ram Temple. The 6,000 invitation cards for the grand consecration ceremony of Ram Lalla have been sent to invitees from across the nation.
Today in Ayodhya, we are joined by Muhammad Iqbal Ansari, the former litigant of Ram Mandir's court case, and we are joined by his family.
धार्मिक कार्यक्रम है, उसमें हमको बुलाया गया है, हम भी जाएंगे, हम भी खुश हैं क्योंकि हमारे अयोध्या का कार्यक्रम है।
क्या तैयारी है, क्या लग रहा है, कैसे जाएंगे?
चाहे मंदिर हो, चाहे मस्जिद हो, हमारा धर्म जो है हर धर्मों का सम्मान करता है, हम भी करते हैं।
This is the kind of religious harmony which we are witnessing here in Ayodhya. With camera person Shiv Suman, I'm Kriti Vadhera reporting from Ayodhya Dham for DD India.
Soon to be inaugurated Ram Temple of Ayodhya is being provided a comprehensive security cover by a special police protection force of Uttar Pradesh Police. The UP Police's special task force will ensure the security of the temple grounds, enclosing the main complex constructed in the traditional Nagara style.
जो सुरक्षा का कार्य है वो समस्त उत्तर प्रदेश पुलिस द्वारा किया जा रहा है। एसटीएफ भी उसका एक हिस्सा है और एसटीएफ की टीम अब अयोध्या में स्थापित हो गई है। तो लगातार जो पुलिस सुरक्षा व्यवस्था है उसको डीजीएलओ द्वारा मॉनिटर किया जाता है और इसमें पूरी उत्तर प्रदेश पुलिस इस कार्य में लगी हुई है।
Now, with the cards being sent out, a call to history has been made. Invitees are preparing to be part of the sacred ceremony on the 22nd of January. While reading the card, you can immerse yourself in classic Hindi, golden letters written on maroon base, Adorned with a gilded border, the prestigious invitation bears the names of key dignitaries like India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi, RSS Chief Mohan Bhagwat, Uttar Pradesh's Governor and Chief Minister, respectively, and Ram Janmabhoomi Tirth Kshetra Head Nitya Gopal Das. Now, the Indian government's nationwide outreach initiative Vikas Bharat Sankalp Yatra aims to attain saturation of flagship schemes of the central government by ensuring that the benefits of these schemes reach targeted beneficiaries. The Yatra reached Sika district of the Indian state of Rajasthan. During the event, the central government's welfare scheme and initiatives were highlighted. The villagers welcomed the Viksit Bharat van. Distinguished students from the local schools and beneficiaries of panchayats were honoured. Free gas connections were also distributed under the flagship scheme Ujjwala Yojana, which is to provide clean cooking fuel to poor households. India's Minister for Housing and Urban Affairs Hardeep Singh Puri, at a press conference on Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra at Palakkad in South India's Kerala, expressed how the benefits of the central schemes are reaching every citizen. Emphasizing on the present government's dedication to empowering the people, he expressed happiness over meeting successful sisters who are now entrepreneurs.
The message is slowly but surely going down to every person. I have now addressed gatherings like this in many Gram Panchayats, and I find that the existing people who are beneficiaries, they are coming forward. Some of them did not even know that these are Modi ji schemes. They thought that they had come from some other source. Slowly we are trying to ensure that benefits of all the scheme go to all the entitled people. I'm very happy. Today, there's a lot of excitement even before the drone demonstration has been done. Drone demonstration will take place now. Now, also, I was very happy to meet a lot of very successful sisters who are now entrepreneurs.
All right, we have an update on a story that we just got you. Now, the Maldives government has suspended 3 deputy ministers after their social media posts made derogatory remarks against India. In an earlier statement, the government had said it will not hesitate to take action against those who make such derogatory remarks. Now, the 3 suspended ministers are Mariam Shiona, Mansha Sharif and Mazoom Majid. In a statement, the government said, and I quote, "The government of Maldives is aware of derogatory remarks on social media platforms against foreign leaders and high-ranking individuals. These opinions are personal and do not represent the views of the government of Maldives." For more, we're joined by DD India's Ahmed Faruqi from Colombo. What more can you tell us about this decision that the Maldivian government has taken? How has it really come about?
Good evening. Yes, the decision came up earlier today, because you see, Thursday, the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi had shared his video when he had gone to Lakshadweep promoting the tourism in the region. However, what had happened is that the comments on Prime Minister's video had gone viral, especially in the archipelago nation of Maldives. In addition to that, the 3 suspended officials, the deputy ministers, they had posted derogatory comments and even derogatory emojis had been added to the social media platform X post. Thereby, after that, there was a call for a strict action by several of the top leaders, even the opposition leaders of Maldives. Thereafter, the Foreign Ministry of Maldives issued a statement in which they distanced themselves from the opinions that were shared by the 3 officials. Later, just a little while back, we got to know from the official spokesperson that the 3 officials have indeed been suspended, and further decision will be taken with regard to how this thing will be taken forward.
All right, Ahmed Faruqi, thank you so much for joining us with that update. And that's all we have for the moment in this edition of DD India Live. But do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can connect with us on Facebook, X, as well as Instagram. We'll be back with more news and updates as a break here on DD India. I'm Gautam Roy, and from all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India Live.